Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of Productview. We're broadcasting live from Inglewood, California, lovely Stitch Studios. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Caleb Davis from Creative Direction. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on, brother? Thank you. Thank you
You
for
know what I
having
mean?
me.
This is a long time coming.
Yeah.
So obviously, the purpose of these interviews is to give entrepreneurs like yourself the opportunity to share the origin story of your brand.
Yep.
So that's what we go pretty much cover in today's episode, and I'm looking forward to it. So let's get right to it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like we was chatting, right when I came in. Everything. I'll even take it, back, way back.
So that's what I want you to do.
Yeah.
So take us back to the beginning,
The beginning.
and then specifically take us back to that point when you got that first big idea in regards to what you're doing right now of creative direction.
Yeah. I think I want to take it back to high school.
Okay.
High school. Went to North Torrance, in Torrance, California, and my mom invited me over to the open house of the Torrance Community Television. That's like the studio with the editing bays and the
For
cameras and
everything,
stuff like that.
everything.
And that's where I got that aha moment where I'm like, oh, the stuff I've been watching on TV my whole life,
Hmm.
these are the tools, this is the place and the space to create and do that. I was like, it was like walking into heaven
Nice.
on earth. And from that moment, I just had the desire to, want to be a part, in any way, shape, or form. So I asked, the head of the studio at that time, like, hey, how can I be involved? And they said, hey, you could be a producer. You can take classes, how to learn the camera, how to edit, and you can get certified and be a producer. And you can actually air your content here on the
Nice.
TCTV network.
Dope.
And I was in high school, and this was outside of the educational side. I'm like, this is real fun.
Hmm.
So I actually, did it, and I completed the course, got access to the cameras, had access to the editing bays, and I invited my friends over. And they're like,
Nice.
yo,
Nice.
this is
Nice.
dope.
Nice.
You got the Pro Tools, you got the speakers, you can make beats and all type of stuff. So brought my friends in there. We did a lot of music videos at the time, aired them on TCTV, and also it was a great space for me to stay out late.
Okay.
And my parents just knew where I was at. It was the studio, so
Hmm.
it wasn't like I was doing nothing crazy. It was just being in the studio. So that's when I
So
got the
you've been
first
in the
aha.
studio since a young boy.
Oh man, I've been cooking, been cooking. It's a great place,
Right,
man.
right, right.
Yeah.
Nice,
I
nice,
I
nice,
just left the studio, came over here, was cooking. So
nice.
that's how we do it.
Okay, so at this point, again, you've got a taste of production, through high school, and now, will go ahead and venture forward to college.
Yeah.
Like let's talk about from your perspective, what the stakes were in regards to you being in this new environment and wanting to cultivate your skill set, and what were some of the pros and cons that you were seeing in that situation.
Yeah, man. I think going to college again, it was like a no brainer. My family, you're going. So
Hmm.
so I had to figure out a way. And when I got accepted to UC Riverside, I came in as an engineering major.
Okay.
So
Nice.
so it was like uh, very very rigorous. And I'm like, I could, you get that point in time where you can kind of switch around, flip flop. So went over to business, and business wasn't cutting it either. And then that's when I settled in communications.
Okay.
But that was the educational side. The thing that I really want to tap in is the community side, because
Okay.
my dad had a. I went back home um, to LA, from Riverside to LA, and then my dad had a camera that was collecting dust.
Okay.
And I'm like,
Some
let me let
equipment.
me let me use that.
Right. Some
Let me
equipment.
let me hold that
Right.
mini DV camera. Put it in your hand, got zooms, and higher definition than anything that we had at the time.
Facts.
Um, and I just shot everything.
Hmm.
You name it, I shot it. The homies, we freestyling, shoot it. Birthday parties, shoot it.
Shoot it. Right.
No matter what,
Camera
everything,
was always hot.
always rolling. Everything gets shot, and then I had that joy after shooting it. So whatever experience it was, going home late at night, cutting it, putting it together, and then presenting it to my friends and my colleagues. And I could stay up to about I could be up the whole day and see the sun coming out my window, see the sun coming up out my window, and I just had a joy. And then I remember my roommate at the time, Bola, he was like, bro, like go to sleep. I'm like, nah, man, I'm cooking,
I'm chefing.
man. Uh and yeah, and then at the next day, invite everybody to the computer. They see it, they're like, whoa, the effects. Let me see it again.
Facts.
And this is like on the cuspy edge of YouTube. So we start to show, put them on YouTube and share them, and then people see them, get some views and stuff like that. And then I think this one particular time, a friend Leah Uko, she had a birthday party. I brought the camera out, and this time I did crazy effects, crazy music, made it look like it was a Sweet 16. No. Made it look like a Sweet 16, even though she was turning about like maybe like 19, 20 or something at
Okay.
the time. And put that on the YouTube, went around, and I remember you hit me up, you're like, hey bro, like, hey, this look nice, Again, the power of YouTube and connections. And he's like, can you do this for my fraternity's parties? I was like, never really shot a party, but let's do it. And I remember that was one of my very first paid gigs. He was like,
Nice.
yo, we got $50 for you. I was like,
Nice.
$50, $50. I was
That's
like,
fresh.
count me in. And
I didn't know that.
and since then, you know, or that point, it was like, oh, there's actually value. There's like monetary value
Mm-hmm.
behind the services that I do. Um, and I would say the rest is history, but it's been just a fun journey, ever since. It's been a very fun journey, man.
Nice, nice, nice. So at this point, like I said, you got a taste in high school with their production services and tools. Then you get to college, you start just doing as much work as possible. You ended up stumbling upon our frat. We reached out, wanted you to do our videos, which were very successful. Brought a lot of value to our fraternity at the time, and helped us do a lot of good business. And like you said, you began to see the value in your skill set. And so when it came to take it back to high school real quick, did you see the same value in your skill set at that point, or was it more so just something you did for fun?
Um, from college, or sorry, say it again.
So like you said, once we paid you and you got
Yep.
the first paid gig,
Yeah.
you began to realize like there's a monetary value
Yes.
in this skill set.
Yes.
Now, when you first got a taste of production back in high school, was that the state of mind you were in, or was it more so just something you were doing for fun?
No, it was still fun. It was still fun. Like, even uh, filming at a party. It's been fun. You know what I'm saying?
Especially back then, you know what I'm saying?
You're beyond a wallflower. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? You're in the mix.
Like literally.
Like you are in it. You're like, move out the way. You're all access.
Right, right, right,
I'm
right, right.
seeing. I'm capturing. People dancing over here.
Right.
I can talk in between. Go get the strolls. Go behind. Get some interviews in the front. Show all the money, bring it in. At the door.
Hmm.
It's still a community aspect, and it was fun. So the monetary value was just like, a bonus.
Hmm.
It was a bonus.
Bonus, right?
And yeah, I mean, even that, that opened up the doors for many other things, because there'll be people there, or people that saw the video, and I'm like, hey, I got a company or a business. Can you help shoot the a testimonial video? Sure. Boom. What's the price? $50. Then
Hmm.
it just started stamping things that maybe I didn't have a true desire or interest, but
Hmm.
I still enjoyed the process. But
Right.
I can now say $50 is the number, you
Hmm.
know, um, until you know until you grow past that rate.
Right. So you go past that, right?
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, your videos, in my opinion, at that time, they were well beyond, the rate we were paying you. And looking back on again what they were able to do for us, now knowing like those are something like your first paid gigs, like that's pretty dope because it's like again, it's like like those videos were valuable to us. You know, like they really helped us do business. You know, they helped get our name out there, get our faces out there. And so to know now that we helped you take a step in regards to developing a sense of value for your skill set, like that's dope to know now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, man.
that's dope to know. That's
Yeah,
dope to know. All right, so again, we went to high school, we went to college. Now you're done with college. You know, obviously the creative juices are flowing.
oh, that's
Pause. And
great.
you're now off into new ventures. You know, you can now do what you want to do. And at the time, I believe you've moved to New York now. And so let's just talk about the evolution in regards to some of the challenges that you came across, making that big move from Los Angeles to New York, trying to still be in the production game,
Yeah,
and how you overcame them, of course.
yeah, and there's two little keys in the middle.
Okay.
Before we got to New York, I'm gonna hit you with them. So right before I graduated UCR, I got an internship turn production assistant role at KTLA news station.
Facts. I
So
forgot about that.
I was able to I was on a rigorous schedule, working in Hollywood and Riverside, going back and forth every day. So I was in the industry, right? So
Hmm.
now I'm in the news industry, able to work my way up. And it got a little mundane. Like it was like, oh, okay, here's another news story, here's another crime story. So it opened up my brain. I'm like, man, I actually um want to go to film school
Okay.
in London. So I applied to a few film schools out in London, and I got into Kingston University. So that's where I was
Facts.
like, yo, I want to
Facts.
actually further.
Forgot about that too.
I want to package this thing up. Like I don't want to just talk about a 30-second news story. I want to know the whole thing and shoot it visually and cinematic and all type of stuff. So um so basically finished my position at KTLA,
Hmm.
packed up everything, moved over to London. So I was over there for about 2 years.
Facts.
And being over there just really opened my brain up. Um, People always ask, how can you do UCLA, USC? It was just different,
Hmm.
I was able to go over different genres. The French New Wave, film noir, anime, Park Chan Wook, and South Korean cinema, and really just like see a different approach than just Hollywood blockbusters.
Hmm.
And yeah, I was able to travel, connect with people from different countries. Like to this day, I have a filmmaker community from Germany to Switzerland to Greece to the Netherlands, and
Nice.
like and all these people invited me to their homes, and I was able to travel to all these locations,
Dope.
and again, I have my camera. I'm capturing these
Hmm.
experiences. I'm capturing whether it's a documentary or a short or just a video, just just to have in the archives.
Facts.
And one of my big projects, my dissertations, was going to Sierra Leone. I'm like,
Okay.
I'm not gonna be this close to Africa, never go.
Hmm.
And not only just go, I'm gonna shoot a film.
Facts.
Shoot a film, I'm gonna shoot a documentary, and I'm gonna have a charity involved with this. I'm doing a three piece,
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, captured a film called In My Shoes.
I remember
We
that.
shot half of it in Sierra Leone, the other half here in LA. Contrast between two young adolescent boys growing up in poverty. One person in South Central LA, other person in Freetown, um, Sierra Leone.
Hmm.
And yeah, man, that film really, helped me after I graduated to get in front of students, get in front of people, not just screening my film online or in a screening, but actually screening it in the schools. So when I came back home to LA, I hit it real hard with the schools. I was in Long Beach, Jordan, Carson High. We took it back to North Torrance, Locke, like you name it. I was Southwest College, City of Refuge. I was everywhere, like churches, schools, you name it, and that taught me that the power not only in creating but also public speaking, leadership,
Okay.
putting value behind your work. So yeah, man, that, like that's when I came back home, and after coming back home, I was like, I gotta go somewhere else, and it was New York.
It was New
Then
York.
now we at New York. Now we
So now we at so
now,
yeah now we in New York.
New York, yeah.
You've obviously achieved a lot. You've taken this passion, for production and turned it into a platform that allows you to, make all these different moves. So again, now we're in New York, and obviously the production gears are still going. So where do we go, and what were some of the challenges that you had to overcome to get those ideas, from idea to screen time?
Yeah, yeah, man. I would say number one, like going to New York, it was actually like KTLA was kind of an industry. It was an industry thing, but outside of like news, like actual like TV, I was really trying to break into. Like movies was like a whole nother like upper echelon, but like at least TV.
Hmm.
So I was applying, hitting up so many people, just like calls, emails. I see somebody shooting on the sidewalk. Hey, what's going on? Nothing. No bites. Nothing. It was even to the point where I applied for it was a major NBC television show,
Hmm.
and I applied for the craft services department, and I got denied. I was like, they looked at my resume. They're like, bro, you too qualified. I'm like, just get. I want to get on the set.
Facts, facts.
Like, they're like, you too qualified. You can't do craft services. So my resume still kind of went around the office, and then I eventually landed a office production assistant job. And then for me, I'm like, I'm in,
Right. Okay.
activated,
Okay.
you know,
Right. Activated.
activated. My goal like was I'm gonna meet everybody in that office, no matter what. Like I'm a hi, my name is Caleb. We're in the kitchen. Everybody, they're gonna know my name. I'm gonna try to remember their name to my best ability to understand what they do. And I did it, man. I went around the office from people that were interns to executives. Hello, they're like, oh, this guy's he's nice, and that got me the opportunity to then be like a on camera production assistant. I was like working for like Lil Jon and Dennis Rodman and Mary Lou Hanner on this show, and I actually got some screen time, and then my peoples in the Midwest saw me on TV. They was like, "Oh, you doing it big?" I'm like, "Hey, I just, I'm just like,
Taking advantage of
ground,
my opportunity.
yeah, ground floor." But, but just from being on that show, meeting all those people, then it just linked. Now I'm in, and the way the industry works is like, hey, I'm crewing up for a project. I need some people. I got a recommendation. So now I was a recommendation.
Gotcha.
Like it could be small. It's like, oh yeah, we need 10 folks. You available? Yeah. Yo, this is a very small crew. You available? Yeah. So always make yourself available when you can. And then that's where I started working, meeting people, keeping the drive going. So yeah, I kind of went over that hurdle, finally got on set, and then went from assistant to coordinator to manager to then assistant camera to camera operator to DP. Like I was checking off all the boxes,
Hmm.
going from assistant PA to assistant second AD to AD, just checking off all the boxes.
Hmm.
Where normal people will find a specific lane and just keep going at it. I just, I wanted to be well rounded because I am well rounded. Um, you know, some people you can meet people like I only light.
Right. They do one
I
thing.
only do sound.
Right.
I only write. I only direct. Man, we're doing it all, and it's possible. And even if you do want to bring that person that only does light or only does sound, you can speak their language, and you can then like creatively go through things together. So that was my thing. But going back to New York, man. Yeah, like I think it got to the point where I saw the TV stuff, and I'm like, I need to own my own camera.
Hmm.
And also, I do have a YouTube channel. I know how to upload things to YouTube from college. So let me create some content with my wife, which is my girlfriend at the time, Ronnie, with my own camera. and make some scripted content. And that's what
Facts.
we did, man. We made
Facts.
Tough Love 2015, and that was a great way to, like, it was great. It's still great.
It was still
It,
man.
and when we still moving and grooving with it. But I would say, in the journey to now we get into the tough love, the tough love world.
hmm So I remember being here in Los Angeles and seeing you drop Tough Love. It was very episodic every week, and I found myself and many of the times saying like, man, this is better than what they have on TV. This is better than what they have on TV. Like this is better than what. And I remember there was a nice community that Tough Love created, and I remember being a part of that. And so at that time, that was when a lot of people were doing a lot of scripted content and they were putting it on YouTube. So just talk about, again, some of the challenges that you had to overcome in regards to getting that piece of content, from the camera, to the community, to the consumer, and to the customer.
Yeah, yeah. It
Because I remember you did some things outside of YouTube eventually.
yeah, man. Tough Love is, even to this day, is still like its own educational course.
hmm
Learning new things, because again, as I noticed, nobody's just gonna like roll out the whole plan. It's like, all right, you need to be here, then you move here, then you move. Nah, it's just Wild Wild West, and you learn as you go. But some of the early stages with Tough Love, season one, we did the whole thing probably less than $5,000, and that's like, we call that a DiGiorno budget,
hmm
where we literally would have DiGiorno pizza for the cast to feed them. And I think those things go for like $5 a pop. We buy like 3 or 4 of them, feed
hmm
everybody. And everybody was just doing it off the strength of like building their reel. I called it the filmmaker mixtape, so you can, walk away with something, whether you or the sound person or the editor. Well, I was the editor. If you was the sound editor, you could walk away with something.
hmm
And after the first season, we put it out to the community,
hmm
and it was like, if y'all want a season two, here's a GoFundMe. And the GoFundMe was for $10,000, and we hit that, we hit it, and we're like, boom, now it's time, we can actually pay the actors.
Yeah.
So for some of them, it was maybe their first time getting value for their, their art, their services. And um and yeah, man, we shot season two with 10,000. We actually, was it 10 or was it 20? Oh shoot, let's say it's
It
10.
was
Let's
thousands.
let's say it's thousands. Yeah, I want to go back now. But long story short, we completed the whole season with the GoFundMe, so we were very excited. Like, it was our money, that came out of our pocket to make it. Now it's other people's money,
hmm
OPM.
OPM.
And now the OPM is paying for it, so we don't even have to front it. And we were just very excited to see that, and people were actually putting the money behind our content. Um, and then season three came about, and we were basically tapped in to license our content to Black and Sexy TV.
hmm
And Black and Sexy was like, "Hey, um, how about you put your content on our channel first, and then on your YouTube for a licensing fee?" We're like, "Whoa, licensing? You can license content? That's a thing?"
Right.
So now
Right.
we're dealing with licensing fees, to make things happen, and then brand partnerships. I was
hmm
like, hey, we got some stuff. We got like a Toyota. We got this thing called airtime. We want you to incorporate into your content. We'll pay you some money. It's like, yeah. So now you're doing branded partnerships, licensing, crowdfunding, seeing all these different financial ways to get the content made.
hmm
Again, not rich. Not retiring on it. Not able to make this, a full time thing, but still seeing how, the monetary can come in through multiple channels.
hmm
But yeah, season three, we released the bonus episode, so we made sure that you can watch it for free on YouTube,
hmm
but then you can watch episode 7, which is the bonus episode, to get like closure for $9.95.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. We didn't even have to crowdfund anymore. Now it's direct, like it's VOD. You pay per view.
Mm-hmm.
So now we can now get a budget by people paying to watch.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And that just opened up the doors. I'm like, all right, so we have our community. Our community pays to watch, and we just rinse and repeat. Then we made our series Pillow Talk, had a bonus episode, and then it just kept rinse and repeating for content. And we're like, wow, this is great.
Nice.
Um, and I guess one of our breaks in the tough love was we were daytime Emmy nominated, so that added more of a prestige to the content, and we just took that and ran with it. It opened up so many doors. TV One reached out to us and said, "Hey, we want to take it as is from the internet and put it on our TV, cable television broadcast, and for a licensing fee."
Nice.
I was like, I
Another
was like, I
licensing
was
fee.
like, oh man. So now we are now being opened up to all these things, all these avenues of finances, and creating our content, doing what we love.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, tough love is still going.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. 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 All right. So we're at tough love. We've reached a level of success from the kid walking into the production facility at Torrance now to being, like you said, in brand deals with Toyota and on major cable networks. And so, what would you say were some of the tools that you went and used in regards to guidance to get over some of the humps that you ultimately had to overcome in order to get from where you were at to where you wanted to be?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll say biggest tool, spiritual tool, God. So,
Okay,
definitely had to, you know,
get your
talk to,
spirit right.
yeah, definitely have to talk to God on this road, because it's not nothing's guaranteed. So if you are doing something and it's not like, you know, most people is like, hey, if I work these 10 hours, I'm gonna get paid,
Right.
X amount an hour. It's guaranteed. Where the work you put in, it's not, nothing's guaranteed.
Hmm.
And so God, definitely, excuse me, is there to just keep your spirit right. Make sure that we represent Him and God. As long as He's in the picture, it just eases the anxiety and make sure it's like, all right, He's in control. We're the conduit. So He's the spiritual tool. That's key number one.
Okay.
Um, Number two is figuring out how to work finances, because this some people are lucky and they just tap into production companies and they already have all that for them. They're like, I'll cut you a check to create it, and just bring it back, we'll make it. But being on the executive independent level, you got
Hmm.
to figure out how to get things made. So anything from lines of credit cards, again, forecasting how many episodes will get bought on a VOD platform, releasing merch, ad revenue, all that stuff, um, um, projected licensing fees and
Okay.
terms. Just got to really analyze all those things going into a project to mitigate risk.
Hmm.
Yeah, because you don't want to. You don't want to be caught with your pants down, So those tools, financial tools that are utilized, and then equipment, like that's a big thing. Like I have a nice arsenal now,
Okay.
because uh, when you do make money, the government wants their cut too,
Hmm.
and if you have tools such as cameras, audio equipment, lights, and all of the above, office space and things like that, then those things need to be bought for the business, and also there are write-offs. So
Facts.
you got to utilize the tools as far as equipment, and utilize the financial government IRS tools as well
Hmm.
to help you navigate the space. So yeah, man, I think those are some of the biggest tools that helped me, throughout the
Okay.
process because again, it's not easy and still learning things. Again, I'm gonna say I'm still learning things to this day. You know what I'm
So when
saying?
you say you're still learning things to these days, is there any books, any YouTube videos, any Instagram feeds that you follow, or is it any workshop seminars, or are you just boots to the ground and you just figure it out on your own?
Yeah, boots to the ground. Boots to the ground for sure. Um, and things, things are different now. Like,
Very
like,
different.
like, like
Very
books.
different.
Books are great. I've read a lot of them. A lot of them. Uh, I still buy. Nothing's really sticks because if I do have, if I do have a roadblock or I can't like figure something out, it used to be Google.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's AI.
Okay.
I'm like, dang. I'm like, how do I get a new way to set up my business by basically prompting. I have this idea, this prompt. I give it to AI, and then it pulls up all the articles. It might pull up some books to read, but then I'm like, oh shoot, okay, that's what I need to do. And
Mm-hmm.
then I'll literally call up, research those areas, and then get to where I need to go. So AI is a tool, man. And
Mm-hmm.
and and people look at AI as like, yo, AI is gonna take everybody's jobs. It is a threat in certain areas,
I agree.
but if you work with it for a minute,
Figure it
you
out.
you you can and like not just like use it for fun, which basketball player is the all-time leading scorer
Right.
in
Right.
five different divisions,
Really getting
whatever.
some
Like
constructive and
like yeah,
productive use out of it.
if you are utilizing to your best ability and you want real results and also follow through, sometimes the AI gives you step by step of what to do,
Exactly.
you
Like
know.
literally.
So do that, follow through. So yeah, I love my books. There's been many books. Book called Undirecting. A book Contagious, which is really good on the marketing side. But ChatGPT and AI is killing it right now.
That's your go to now. That's a right hand man.
Yeah, I mean things move so fast, man. Things move so fast. You can even say Contagious. Give me the cliff notes chapter by chapter, and ChatGPT was.
You know what's crazy? As you said that, I remember you were actually the first person to introduce me to AI. Now that I think about it, because I remember we were here, and then you were just showing me. I mean, you was like, "Go get your laptop, bro. I gotta show you this new tool again." You was like, "We gotta wait real quick though, because there's a lot of people using it right now."
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And we gotta wait for it to load up. So I remember we waited, and then you just started showing us like little different things. I was just like, all right, cool. And at the time, I didn't really hop on it, but then later on down the line, like I definitely, understood the value of it. And so now, to your point, Chat GPT, it is my executive assistant in that regards. And to your point, anytime I have an idea, I just take, a piece of it and take my notes, put it in the chat GPT, but prompt it up how I want it to be prompted up. And then it gives me the information that I want it to give me. And then to your point, a lot of it is step by step at times. But for me, using it a lot for messaging, like it really, to your point, gets the job done. And I don't know, where I would be, without it at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to, how it evolves into the future.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And you do still got to exercise like like our brain.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like,
not to cut your wisdom
yeah.
off real quick, but to that specific point, what I've realized is it's not that Chat GPT and the AIs are going to replace our jobs. It's just people who understand how to use it better than us are going to be the ones who are going to take people's jobs.
Mm.
Because what I've realized is the more knowledge you have just as an individual, the more useful Chat GPT will be to you because you're now able to give it more specific references, in regards to the outputs that you want to get out of it, as opposed to someone who might not be as knowledgeable, as you, and they don't know how to, so they don't necessarily have the frameworks in a sense or the reference points to fall back on to be able to use the tool, to get the best, output that you can get out of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
still, reading books and staying up to date and knowing, specific individuals in the social media sphere, all that stuff. I've realized it helps with you being able to use the tool to, its most maximum potential, because again, you're pulling from, with the to your point, things is always changing, so you're always pulling from the here and the now, what's working right now.
Yep. Yep.
So
100%, man.
thanks for that. I
Yo,
appreciate
yo,
that.
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
appreciate the introduction.
Yes.
So on that note, let's look back to young Caleb. Let's go back to the guy who, again, we was walking into North Torrance when moms, put you on to this thing called production. If you could, based upon what you know now, if you can give him like a ABC or a 1, 2, 3 on how to go from, that first introduction, getting a taste of it, of production, to, being in a position where you can, make a living, off the craft.
Mm-hmm. Man, give that person ABC.
And again, we can just do broad strokes, so we
Yeah.
don't have to go into specific details. But just like, you want to make sure you do take these 3 steps
Yeah.
to get from, that point, in the beginning,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
now being able to again, from doing videos just for the love of it, to now being able to make a living off of
Yeah. Oh man. I definitely would tell that person just always enjoy it. Right. This like this the blanket. Like you gotta enjoy this thing because you meet a lot of people that just get into it and get out.
it. Hmm.
You meet a lot of people that are in it and miserable. But if you're in it and you enjoy it, then it's, sometimes when it gets a little hectic or you see people hectic, you're like, I'm calm, I'm good, you
Hmm.
know? So make sure make sure you enjoy it all the way through. And then the next step is, you know, community. Like, I have, my different communities and everything, but, keep them really strong and find a source, um, whether it's a YouTube channel, whether it's an Instagram page, whether it's a WhatsApp, group chat. Keep that community together, even if it doesn't, even if it's like not on 24/7
Hmm.
or all 365 all year long, at least a place to go to tap in with these community people, because like from the job aspect, like I said, like somebody said, are you available?
Hmm.
So you have a community in that way. When it comes time to creating projects and it's time to share it, you have a community to share it to. When it comes time to venture out in other professional skills, whether you want to level up. I want to be a director on a televised broadcast show. Okay, I have this email list I'm gonna send my resume out to, or I'm gonna send my reel out to. So having strong community, and again utilizing the internet as a tool.
Hmm.
Shoot, man, if you could have an in-person community, I think that's really strong as well. A place where people can gather. Um, but yeah, I would tell the person community, enjoying, and then lastly, always learn, because technology is always changing. The equipment that I was shooting on, back then is totally different, far quicker, better, like cheaper, now. Again, AI is very popular, and that was you can Google, and Google was pretty light back then, so
Hmm.
now get with the new things, the new technology. Always be learning, man. Those so enjoy community and learning. I think those are the big big takeaways.
Nice. So what's keeping you inspired and motivated nowadays to keep those creative juices flowing and to stay, in production mode?
Man, just getting the process, like just getting the script together,
Okay.
um, doing the casting,
Okay.
um, getting the talent and the crew, getting the right equipment, getting the locations, shooting it, looking back at the shots, cutting it,
Okay.
sound mixing it, tapping in with the musicians, mixing the music in there, um, uh, you know, watching the final thing over and over and over again,
Facts.
reliving it, playing it over, and then finding a home for it,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's online or somebody else's, network. Like the process is great. I love the process. I'm motivated by the process. Like I when I see like all the old heads, what's my guy? Gran Turismo, $1 Million Baby,
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. When I'm
Yeah.
like, dang, he's so old and he's still doing it. He loves it. He loves the
The
process.
process,
He
right?
he loves it. Like he's gonna die
The
on set.
process. The
like
process.
he's not gonna retire. He's like he loves it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if he didn't love it, he would have probably sat down, 10 movies ago.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what keeps me motivated. And also, man, just like, there is a big chunk of black content right now. Like, just watch Sinners, man. This for the second time did the IMAX, man. I was that
Blown
boy,
away.
I was blown away. And every time once it comes on video on demand, DVD, wherever, I'm gonna watch it again and get blown away again. So, from TV shows, Forever that just dropped, um, Reasonable Doubt that showcased LA. Like,
Mm-hmm.
bruh, like I'm inspired. When we go to the TV Academy and meet these directors and producers and creators, I'm inspired.
Mm-hmm.
I am invigorated. So, um, yeah, it's I'm in a great place. Definitely much room for improvement and building, and I know that because that younger self has to learn, and I have to continue to learn.
Right.
That younger self has to still, build community. I'm still building my community even bigger and stronger. And lastly, like, praying to God, making sure that I continue to enjoy this, man.
Nice. So on that note, where can people find you? Where can they go and consume the content? Where can they go take you up on some of your offers at?
First off, you go to Tough Love Series on YouTube.com. Tough Love Series on YouTube.com. That's
Go
where you
check it out.
you can watch over 60 episodes of scripted content. If you want to, go ad free, go over to Tubi.com. Tough Love Series. You can check me out on Instagram, Caleb Davis Films. That's where I post updates and things like that. And yeah, man, you know, got some stuff on the way. Nothing for a shout out yet, but just got some stuff on the way, and just having fun with the process.
Okay, nice. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Everything that you put out, I've always enjoyed, and like I said, now having a little bit more, knowledge in regards to your glow up, it's dope, knowing that I was able to be a part of that and contribute. And it's just like I said, looking back on where you started and how we met and where what we were able to accomplish and what you've grown to now. It's like pretty dope being able to look back and being like, yeah, man, like I remember when that guy was in college and we saw he had a skill and like you said we wanted to, because in our mind it was like, yeah, we gonna put him on, you feel me, like we go, and then we go pay him, da, 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 da. And so like knowing that was a big milestone in your life and helped you become the creative, getting the creative directions that you want to get into, like that's pretty dope, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
So in closing, if you don't have any last, give us any last words, any words of wisdom, and we'll go ahead and close it on out.
Man, just keep God close and make sure He's number one. That's it.
It is.
That's it.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. So on that note, like I say, go check him out. Creative direction, Caleb Davis. It's great, great work, great content, tough love series. You'll enjoy it. On that note, peace.